Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Daniel Diagnosis. I am your host, Keith Daniel. It has been a minute, good people. It has been a minute. And since the time we have last spoke, I hope that everybody out there has been safe, productive, and blessed. I mean, it's been quite a while. And the reason for that is I listen. Sometimes God, creator, source, big mama, however you want to put it, sometimes they're going to tell you, be still. You remember how back in the gap when it storms outside, especially if you're from the South, it's storming outside, thunder, lightning, it's raining, power blink on and off, or it just may go off altogether. What's the first thing your grandma tell you to do? Be still and let God work. Be still and let God do his job. That's where I find myself at for the past several months. Um, First of all, I want to give all praises and glory to the Most High, the Creator, the source of everything that is. And I also want to say salute and shouts out to everybody out there that's been putting in the work, man. You guys don't know how much you have helped me in my self revelation and on my path and journey to get back to this point. I salute. It's a lot of y'all. And I don't want to single nobody out and I don't want to miss anybody. Because again, if I did that, I would ask you to blame it on my head and not my heart. Excuse me. So I ain't gonna call no names of this, that, and the third, but you know. There's a couple of them that I really, really, really want to be like, hey man, thank you. And I got to. Hopefully in the near future, we can collaborate on some things. Because I'm here now. I had a talk with my mom today, and I'm blessed enough to still have my mother here on this earth realm with me. Um, and it's crazy. The more that I understand the reality that I'm in, the more I'm able to understand my past and why things had to be the way they were for me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, give you for an example, right? I'm a Leo, okay? Leo. Um, I was born August 8th, 1980 at 11:07 a.m. All right. Now, so if you understand numerology, I'm an eighth person, being born on the eighth day of the eighth month of the 80th year of the 20th century. Like, that's a lot of eights. But it don't stop there because the portal that I had to come through, when I say portal, I'm talking about my mama, the person that gave me birth. A woman's womb is a portal, if you didn't know that. I'm giving it to you. All right, so the portal that I had to come through, my mama, she's also an eight. She was born February 8th, 1958. Ain't that something? Now, here's the co-winkydink part about that is she's an Aquarius and I'm a Leo. We two polar opposites. You see what I'm saying? She's my mom. I'm her son, her only son. You feel what I'm saying? Then on top of that, her name Marilyn, like Mary Lynn, Marilyn. That's her name, Marilyn. So it's Mary Lynn. Then I don't even know my dad. I don't even like my dad could be next to me in Publix tomorrow while I'm buying groceries, and I wouldn't even know that's him. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know my pops. You know, and it don't stop there because my grandmother, her name was Lenora, bless her soul, Ashe. Lenora means light as well. Like it's a term for light in names, as far as names are concerned. She was born on the 26th of June. Now, 2 plus 6 is 8. So I came through 8 portals, like from my grandmother to my mother, and now me. And then my birthday, triple eights. And it just so happened that I'm the third eight. Now, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in paying attention to the universe. So I talked to my mama today because I just needed that recharge. I just needed that confirmation that I was doing the right thing and basically being able to vent to her about how tired I was. And it's not a tired like I'm physically tired and it's more of a mental tired. Tired of sitting back, tired of playing the shadows, tired of playing the sideline. And she gave me so much confirmation as far as where I'm at and what I'm doing. And when me and her talk, it's a building session. A lot of the times, even though she's my mother, when we conversate, it's hard to separate the teacher from the student because we're both old souls. 8 people are old souls. That number 8 is the infinity sign if you set it on its side. So we're old souls. So we're able to actually really chop it up and have great conversations. Now, my mom is, if you understand the 8s, it's shaped like this. Okay, so you have a circle on top of a circle. Now, the thing about us 8 people is that we're either going to be at the low end of the 8 or on the high end of the 8. It really ain't no in between for us. Either you're going to be at the bottom of the bottom or you're going to be on the top of the top. Now, my mother, due to her makeup and who she is the bottom of the 8. I'm the top of the 8. Now, I did my time at the bottom of the 8, but I was able to transform myself chemically, if you will. Alchemy, basically, that's what it is. I was able to transform myself from the bottom of the 8 to the top of the 8. Now I have, my biggest concern for myself is making sure my mama can, reap the fruits of her labor while she's still here in this earth realm and bring her up to the top with me. Like, I ain't rich. And that ain't what I was put here to just actually do, would be so materialistic. I went through my materialistic phases or whatnot, but I just want my mama to just be all right and enjoy life and not have to be on that bottom end. But it's crazy because we both understand why it had to be like this. What is the bottom of any building? We call it the foundation. She had to come and lay the foundation. She had to do the grunt work. She had to be the one that never actually tasted the fruit that she bore off of her trees, simply because it was her job to see other trees, such as myself, such as my 2 sisters. And so we could be the persons that we are. Same thing I'm doing for my children. Feel what I'm saying? But it's a great thing to have my mother still here with the understanding that I got right now. Especially with all this energy going on, that I can chop it up with her and get the reconfirmation that I need as far as continue to push on. Now, in that, I feel like it's time for me to do my job. Now, I know my videos that I've posted, diagnosing Rod Hayes videos, is the reason that a lot of you are here. And I want to say salute to the big chief, Rod Hayes, for putting in the work that he has put in. He's an 8 as well. I'm an 8. I get it. Yeah, from the same tribe. Soul tribe. The way what he brings is what he is put here to do. However, what he did for me was trigger in me that moment of awareness that I had to sit down and I had to know myself better. I had to realize who I am. Now, I've always known this because the coincidences, they add up over and over and over again. But regardless of that, the world still turns. The deception's still going on. And as you diving down that rabbit hole, moving at the speed of light through that rabbit hole, it's easy for a person caught up in this flesh suit or flash suit to get caught up in it, to get lost in the sauce, if you will. And that's what happened to me to a degree. You get so caught up in all of the information, it's almost like a drug. It almost becomes addictive. And that's where I found myself at. So I apologize to all my people for not getting here sooner. However, I can't move until deity tells me to move. I can't make sense of this unless I got all the tools I need in order to do my job. Now, do I got all the tools I need? Pretty much. Am I a master teacher at it yet? No. I'm humbly striving to become the master teacher is like some of these guys that I got right here on this canvas, or all of them pretty much. You got Dr. Clark, you got Dr. Ben, you got Bobby Hemmett, you got Marcus Garvey, right there on that canvas right there. And yes, I painted it. If you want you a print of it, you can get you a print of it. You know what I mean? Just go to ElohimArtworks.com. You can get that and possibly get you one of these shirts right here. Hand painted shirt, Elohim Atlantis, by yours truly. Just dropping that in there. But I'm striving to become that. However, I just can't sit on the sidelines no more. We here now. You know, it's overtime. And we trying to win the game. Time running out on the clock. And we driving, but we done reached the 2-minute warning. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm back. And I appreciate everybody that's tuning in to this video. And I just ask you to not skip over, not just look at me like I'm some type of peon, this, that, and the third, but pay attention to what I'm saying, because I think we're going to have a good show, and I know what I bring to the table. I don't bring what Roy brings to the table. I don't bring what 19 Keys bring to the table. I don't bring what Rashad Jamal bring to the table. You know why? Because I'm me. My frequency is my frequency. There are billions of people here on this planet. And I know it's some people that's vibrating the same way that I'm vibrating that this message will resonate with. And I'm doing myself and Mama Earth and the collective a disservice if I keep on balling up my fist and sitting on my wrist like my grandma would say and watching this shit go by and not doing my part and putting on my helmet when my number is called. We ain't doing that no more. So I appreciate everybody. Now, the topic of this lecture for the night is Jesus Christ versus Christ consciousness. Jesus Christ versus Christ consciousness and self-revelation. One more time because I stumbled. The topic for this lecture tonight is Jesus Christ versus Christ consciousness and self-revelation. Hopefully, it gonna resonate with somebody. However, me being from the priestly tribe, yep, I am from a priestly tribe. That's just genetically who I am. My great-granddaddy was a preacher. My granddaddy was a preacher. My uncle, my grandmother's son, he was a preacher. Skip my dad because I don't know the bastard. I'm a Daniel, just like my forefathers. And here I am doing what I do in front of this camera right now. Now, I ain't go to seminary school, but I know my job duties and requirements. And that's what I'm here to do. So we're going to, in a way, have church here tonight, good people. Now, before we get into it, I would like to have a selection. Not from the choir, but we're going to have a solo selection by none other than my alter ego. We all struggle. So, for the next 3 minutes or so, kick back, roll up, pour your drink up, do whatever you got to do. Let's get the spirit up. Let's get the energy up. Let's get the vibration up. And then we'll start getting into the lecture. Okay? With that being said, here's We All Struggle, presenting to you Big Mama's House.
This is a Struggle Man exclusive. Shout out to all the mamas and the mamas' mamas. Yeah, the baby mamas too. Let me tell y'all what it's about. You need a place to stay, sleep on the couch. But this is Big Mama house. You look hungry, put some food in your mouth. And if you violate, we kicking you out. But this is Big Mama house. And when she leave the house, she gon' tell you she want it the same way she left it. Big Mama house. And if it ain't in order when she get back, then everybody getting dealt with. Big Mama house. I wanna thank you for bringing me in, mama. Look what you did, mama. Shout out to Big Mama. I wanna say I'm really sorry for the kid drama. The kids grow up to be goats, now I'm Big Mama. We went astray, Kill Bill didn't kill Amma. She came back for a kid, so we feel calmer. And show compassion for the ones that still honor. Black Madonna, the one and only Big Mama. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors. My Big Mama name is Lenore, that means light. My mama name is Marilyn, that means she gon' fight. And my name is Keith, the meaning of that is earth. Like I can't fight, I guess for what it's worth. No guessing that what it is. My middle name's Darnell, that means the hidden place. My last name Daniel. Daniel, that means God is my judge, so I shall pass no judgment on no one but myself. So I'm a earth-born God from the order of life. The hidden one who gon' come when judgment is nigh. Or near, the war is won, there's nothing to fear. You being lied to, folk, things ain't what they appear. But let me go, let me hang up this phone. I gotta get the house in order, cause my Big Mama home. I said I gotta go, dog, let me hang up the phone. I gotta get my house in order, cause my Big Mama home. Struggle. Let me tell y'all what it's about. You need a place to stay, sleep on the couch. But this is Big Mama house. You look hungry, put some food in your mouth. And if you violate, we kicking you out. But this is Big Mama house. And when she leave the house, she gon' tell you she want it the same way she left it. Big Mama house. And if it ain't in order when she get back, then everybody getting dealt with. Big Mama house. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors.
Shouts out to the Big Mamas out there, man. Yeah. Shouts out to all on. That energy's back, y'all. We've been deprived of that energy for too long, boy. That nurturing energy. See, we've been on that daddy energy for a long time now, y'all. You know, daddy don't give two damns about nothing. He gonna kick ass and take names. That's all he doing. It be Big Mama to be like, come here, baby. That's what Big Mama be like, come here, baby. You know, she come home and tell Granddad, sit your ass down somewhere. Hell you doing to these children? Move. Get out my way. Go sit down. And then when Big Mama get home, Granddad ain't got shit to say. Like shit, he just sitting back. He gonna smoke his pipe, watch his westerns, goddamn sip on whatever he sip on, whether it's whiskey or moonshine. But he out the way. Soon as Big Mama come home here, he can't wait till Big Mama get home. Get these bad ass children. I'm tired of them running around him. That, and the third. And you can't wait till she get home either. Because in your head, it's like, Big Daddy mean. Big Daddy mean as hell. Like, he don't let her do nothing, Big Mama. He wouldn't even feed her. He fed her soft meat. Big Mama come home and fix a good meal for them babies, boy. Shit, that's where we at right now. Yes, sir, indeed. So, with that being said, man, let's get into the subject at hand. Jesus Christ versus Christ consciousness and self-revelation. All right? So, if you don't mind, again, I come from a priestly tribe. Bible call them the Levites. That's where you get your book Leviticus from. All right? It took me some time to just actually accept that. But shit, man, it is what it is. See what I'm saying? I'm just different. I'm what's needed now. Like my granddaddy was needed for his time. My uncle was needed for his time. My great-granddaddy was needed for his time. And I'm here serving my purpose for the time that I'm here. And again, you ain't got to do nothing but go out into the world. We in different times right now. People are getting more information off the internet than they ever got in the church. In my opinion now. Now, before we move forward, let me shoot a disclaimer out though. My channel is an intellectual channel, meaning you have to have the intellectual capacity to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. If you cannot do that, and if your dogma is going to get in the way, this channel ain't for you. Got it? You sure? Good. And if that does apply to you, and you ain't willing to entertain thoughts, sayonara. All right, now, in terms of religion, Jesus Christ is without a doubt the most famous figure in religion of all time. Now, I think pretty much we can agree on that. Jesus Christ is probably the most famous figure in religion of all time. He's the Michael Jordan of religion, okay? Now, what do we know about Jesus? He was born of a virgin, immaculate conception. We know that 3 wise men was there for his birth. We know that his father, or stepfather, however you want to put it, Joseph, Joseph was a carpenter. We know that Jesus started his ministry at the age of 12. Now I'm a numerology guy, so if you add the 1 plus 2, you get 3. Just throwing that out though, for the ear that's able to hear it, okay? We also know that he died for our sins at the age of 33. All right? We know he had 12 disciples. We know that the devil tempted him with all the riches of the world so he could have all of this if Jesus just serves him, in which Jesus declined and said, it's mine anyway. We know he performed miracles. He raised the dead. He healed the sick. He made the blind see. He fed the people. All right? Some say his death did away with the law of the Old Testament, and we now are saved by grace, or, in other terms, undeserved favor. He told his disciples they would go on and perform better miracles than he performed in life. Now, all that is amazing to me. Now, when we look back and we look at this story, he's the GOAT. Ain't nobody greater than Jesus. Jesus is popping, in the words of Country Wayne. Jesus is popping. When we look at everything that he did and how he was, man, he the GOAT. He the baddest thing to ever do it. Now, in my opinion, why that is because I feel like he was God incarnate in flesh. He couldn't, the idea of God or deity could not walk this earth as in his natural form. So it had to take on the spacesuit, the meat suit. He had to take on flesh. In order to walk with men, he had to become man. In other words, bad mamma jamma when he got here doing it too. According to the story. All right. Now, when would he return? Now, what I want to get into with that is I want to go to Matthew 24. Okay. Pull it up real quick. We're going to get into Matthew 24 and see what does Matthew 24 say. So, Matthew 24:3 says, as Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. They came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Again, they said, tell us, when will all this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Jesus answered them. He said, watch out that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, claiming, I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. But see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen. But the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pangs. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. And you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations. And then the end will come. Now that's deep. Now I want you to just take a step back and look at the world that we live in right now. Have many people been put to death because they came out here trying to preach the way, the word, the truth, and the light? I will say yes. I mean, I've been here since 1980, but the history books tell me that a lot of our leaders have been slain for preaching the truth. Is nation not rising up against nation? Since I've been on this planet, hell, that's what happens. Nation rises up against nation. Are we not hearing about wars and rumors of wars? Are we not? Now, I want y'all to stay with me now because I'm going somewhere. All right? It just ain't finna get, this ain't gonna be a Southern Baptist sermon. I'm going somewhere with this, but I got to build up the climax first. Okay? I got to build up the climax. So now I'm going to take you from there. I'm going to take you from there. And we're going to go to Luke 22. Okay? Let me go to Luke 22 real quick. Luke 22, right? Now what happens in Luke 22? Judas agrees to betray Jesus. Now, what I'm going to read is, I'm going to read the 7th verse through the 13th verse. All right. So, then came the day of unleavened bread on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John saying, go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover. What do you want us to prepare for? They asked. He replied, as you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters, and say to the owner of the house, the teacher asks, where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples? He will show you a large room upstairs, all furnished. Make preparations there. They left and found things just as Jesus had told them, so they prepared for the Passover. Now, the reason I wanted to speak about that verse is because it's speaking of, look for a certain person that is carrying a jar or a pitcher of water. Now, if you are versed and well studied in biblical texts or into, occult mysteries, you will understand that biblically there are a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot, but the scriptures can have hidden meanings or be labeled as allegories. And from a lot of philosophers and scholars, that scripture right there that I just read is draped in allegory, and it refers to a zodiac sign, which is the sign of Aquarius, the man with the jar of water or the pitcher of water or the bucket of water. That's the sign of Aquarius. All right. Now, again, stay with me because I'm going somewhere now. Now, in this, they're speaking about the Passover, right? They're preparing for the Passover. Now, you have to ask yourself a question. What is the Passover? Now, the Passover is an event that commemorates the Hebrews' liberation from slavery in Egypt and the passing over of the forces of destruction or the sparing of the firstborn of the Israelites when God smote the land of Egypt on the eve of the Exodus. You tracking? That's what the Passover is. The Passover is the Hebrews' liberation from being held captive in Egypt. The passing over of the destruction that was to come. The day before the Exodus. What is the Exodus? That's when Moses led the people out of the captivity of Egypt. All right. Now, in some forms or in some definitions, Egypt, especially biblically, it can be used dualistically, meaning that Egypt can be a place of refuge. Hence, Moses went to Egypt and he found refuge in Egypt, even though he wasn't from Egypt. Remember that now. Moses was one of the people. He went to Egypt and he found refuge. That's where he learned the mysteries at. Through the mystery schools in Egypt. However, in the terminology of talking about the Passover, it was a place of oppression. All right? So, if I'm being oppressed by my wife at home, wouldn't my home be a form of Egypt? If I come out the house and I meet up with my brothers and we chopping it up and I be like, man, I'm living in Egypt. No, I ain't talking about I'm living in the land over here in Africa over there, at the top of Africa. No, I ain't saying that. I'm saying that my household has become a place of oppression. Especially how I follow up that statement. If I say, man, I'm living in Egypt, man, my wife won't let me do nothing. I gotta sacrifice everything to her. They're saying that my house has become a place of oppression. All right. So when you look at what's going on in this situation, some people can look at it as literal and a historical event. However, in my teachings and in my philosophy, everything that happens in this rule and guide of our faith called the Bible can be applied to modern times to help you navigate this thing we call life. Now, let me ask you, good people, are we not finding ourselves in a state of oppression? Or have we not found ourselves in a state of oppression? I know I've been in a state of oppression since 1980, since I've been here, since I've been able, like, straight up, because by the time I got old enough to understand that this world wasn't right, it was at a young, ripe age. So, of course, it had to be like this when my mama gave birth to me. So from 1980 all the way up until, like, for me now, like 2019. Now follow me. Just follow where I'm going with it now. From my birth all the way up to like 2018, 2019, somewhere up in there when everything went crazy, when the whole world shut down, it was an oppressive feeling about this world. It just wasn't right. It felt like we were being smothered by a destructive force. You follow me? So if we apply this text to today, the same thing applies. So are we not in a state of Passover? Or have we not went through a state of Passover? So now we got this Jesus character that done did all these miracles during the time that he was here. But then there came a time that he had to leave. And when he left, even though he redeemed those that he came to redeem, the powers that be, understanding that this energy, this being, this frequency, this vibration ain't here no more, they went right back to business as usual. right back to it. And we find ourselves in bondage yet again. Now, just marinate on that for a second. Marinate on that for a second. Because that is very important as we go to the next stage of this lecture. But before we do that, I got to have another selection by my alter ego, We All Struggle. And this one is called Lord Knows. And the only thing I'm going to ask y'all is to know yourself. Stay tuned again. Do what you got to do. Gonna be a quick 3-minute intermission. Hopefully, your vibrations are through the roof right now. The frequency is on high. Hopefully, you can keep on tracking. And then we're going to go on and get to the meat and potatoes. All right? Let's get it.
True story. This dude did the impossible, man. And everybody here to witness. Yeah. He went from peasant to king. He went from king to God. But where does God go when he died? And what happens to a non-believer? What you know about fighting angels for your life? What you know about sacrificing for your rights? Paying dues for your benefits and your rights. No matter what you do, everybody has a vice. Just understand, keep it in the playing field. If you know, you know, only you can make it real. Let's keep it real. A lot of y'all done made a deal. Just some pawns, intelligence agents, keeping them informed on who got what. When they need info, they gon' pick your ass up. Boy, you fucking with Dr. Strange, Dr. Manhattan, guess I'm one and the same. Powers that be know who be sending me. That's why Alphabet Company censors me. Try to render me futile with the shadow band, treating us like a refugee caravan. What you know about fighting angels for your life? What you know about sacrificing for your rights? Paying dues for your benefits and your rights. No matter what you do, everyone has a vice. He went from peasant to king. He went from king to God. But where does God go when he dies? And what happens to a non-believer? Lord knows, only Lord knows. Captain of my faith, master of my soul. Lord knows, only Lord knows. Lord knows, faith, master of my soul. From being a peasant to living pleasant. From taking L's and learning lessons. To get money, saving, then invest it. All my family members deserve credit. For real. The prodigal son fulfilling prophecy. I do. Truth and show, I feel the world's watching me. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. All eyes on me, nigga. All eyes on me. Let's go. It's Elohim on the shirt for description. Let's keep it real, we ain't in the same dimension. You need some light in your life, here's the prescription. Here you go. And everything you heard, I fit the depiction. Look at me, nigga. He went from peasant to king. He went from king to God. Better say it, boy. But where does God go when he dies? Where we go, though? And what happens to a non-believer? Lord knows. Only Lord knows. Captain of my faith, man. Master of my soul. Lord knows. Only Lord knows. Captain of my faith, master of my soul. Y'all even knew, boy. Y'all out here caught up on your ego and shit. Better put that shit, hey, if you fucking with me, man, if you coming talking to me, boy, you better leave that shit at the door, boy. Ain't no ego over here, that shit futile with me, boy. Shit, we all here, we all the same, boy, you better understand what I'm talking about. Lord knows, nigga.
Only Lord knows. Master of your fate, captain of your soul. You dig it? Now, let's get back to the lecture. All right, so we done talked about this, the Savior, if you will. What we have been doctrinated into calling Jesus the Christ. This God man. This God made flesh that walked amongst the people, that performed the miracles, that was betrayed, sacrificed, resurrected, and saved us from our own sins. The law was already given in the Old Testament. And some say that he did away with the law. Everybody don't agree on this now, but some say that he did away with the law and he saved us by grace. Undeserved favor. So we can do whatever we want to do as long as we believe in him and we gonna be saved. But it's a key part in there that we forget. Repent. That word repent. Like we don't usually like to repent. Cause we go back and do the same damn thing we did before once we get out of a situation. But as soon as we get in that hot water, boys, oh Jesus, oh Lord, please God, Lord, Jesus help me. You see what I'm saying? And that grace will come through for you sometime. Well, pretty much all the time. Until you just keep on repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And that's insanity. You feel what I'm saying? Like, straight up. So we've delved into Jesus Christ, the person, biblically stated. All right? So let's go into the consciousness part. All right? Now is when it's finna get a little bit rabbit hole-ish, if you will. Now, I think everybody up under the sound of my voice understands what happened around the year 2019-ish. They shut the whole world down for that Rona. That Rona. You know, that Rona. We like drinking Coronas, right? Yeah, that Rona. Now, what is the crown of the sun called? Snoop Dogg in in the commercials all the time. On the beach. Popping the top on them. Coronas. The crown of the sun, or the ring around the sun, is called a corona. And they labeled that nonsense that, I ain't gonna call it nonsense, but they labeled what was going on at that time with that title. Now, again, the crown or the ring around the sun. Now, what is Jesus? What is his title? Besides Christ, he's the Son of God. You feel me? The Son of God. The ring around the sun. So now we got to understand that we talking English language right now. So our language is very much a tricknology type language, because one word doesn't mean what it means. One word can have 2, 3, 4 different meanings in our language. So I can tell you son, or I can call you son, but you don't know if I'm calling you S-U-N or S-O-N. You follow what I'm saying? But this sickness was called that. The sickness that they came out with and shut the whole world down about was basically called the crown of the sun. Think about that. The thing that they used to shut the whole world down, they literally called it the crown of the sun. That was the name of that particular thing that shut the whole world down. Was called the crown of the sun. Now, understand this. Light is nothing but information. Light is nothing but information. The plants use the light of the sun as information to do what they need to do at its proper and due time. If the information from the sun says die, they die. If the information or light from the sun says grow, they grow. So what if? I'm not saying that this is fact. I ain't saying this is law. But I'm just saying, what if somebody out there or a group of people out there was scared of the information that the sun was putting out? What if the crown from the sun, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, was putting out some information that they were scared about? It's just hypothetically asking a question. I have no scientific basis to tell you that this is what this is. I'm a philosopher. This is what I do. I philosophize. I might have just made up a word, but you know what I'm saying. I question. I ask. What if that was the case? What if the sun, and we all understand that we've been having, it's in the news about solar flares. Especially back then, there was a lot of talk about solar flares and how close they are coming to Earth and the implications they can have if they ever hit the Earth. What if all that was just code for certain information that was coming out that was going to awake a certain group of people that identify with the Son of Man? Now, when I say that, am I talking S-U-N or S-O-N? Or can the S-U-N and the S-O-N be intermingled? Look at it like that. So basically, when they tell you what they tell you, they telling you what they telling you. But due to the dogma, we dismiss it. No, they ain't talking about that. That's just the sun in the sky. They ain't the Son of Man. They ain't the Son of God. Like, huh? How you know? You see what I'm saying? To me, it can go either way. All right? Now, if that is the case, let's just say it is the case, like, okay, both of these titles, son and son, are intermingled, right? Now you have to go back and ask, well, what did Jesus say about his return? Because again, during the Passover now, we got to go back to this Passover thing. Because if we're talking in philosophy and we're talking in allegory, we're talking a situation that has derived again. We're back at this type of situation, a bondage situation, an oppressed situation, similar to the Hebrews' exit from Egypt at that time when the text was written. Now, again, I think I've discussed that Egypt can be used as a description of an oppressive place. So, what if we were currently living in a type of Egypt at the moment that they derived this concoction or this idea or this sickness came about in 2019? And this was a very oppressed place and things of that nature. Wouldn't this be a form of Egypt, if you will? And now we got to go through some type of awakening, a passing over of destructive forces. Now the whole country shut down. Next thing they do, come up with the PPP. Everybody got money. Now I ain't gonna sit here and lie, man. I know in some big cities it was bad out there. Like you couldn't go nowhere. Y'all was getting stir crazy because you couldn't move. You was stuck in the house. You were doing all kind of abominable things because you was stuck in the house. But for people like me that was living down here in God's country, the Southeast, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, you know what I mean, Mississippi, man, we ain't shut down nothing. It was a hell of a time to be alive. They were getting out free money. They had stimuluses coming out every other week, if not every week. The PPP loans, if you deserved it, it was good. Half of the people, I ain't gonna see half, 3/4 of the people that got money off the PPP ain't deserved the money, but they were eating. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was a great time to be alive. You feel what I'm saying? Like, straight up. And then on top of that, you had a plethora of new YouTube channels, Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, TikTok accounts that came out here and just was bombarding people with all kinds of information, alternative thought processes that make sense, that can really break down this craziness that we call reality. And it wasn't no stopping it. It wasn't no stopping it. Period. Now, I also talked about when he would come back. And he said, look, go to this town and look for the man with the pitcher of water. And go to him and, go to him and ask to be put up in this house, and then you're gonna go upstairs to the upper room, and there'll be couches there. And then I want you to prepare it up. So when you get into this house of the dude that got the pitcher of water, he wants you to go upstairs where the couch is at. Right? And then he wants you to prepare right there. So let's just say that this is another allegorical context. I ain't saying that it's not literal, but I'm just saying think and maybe possibly entertain that this is allegorical, right? We will be talking about the house of Aquarius. Okay? Now, if we're talking about the house of Aquarius, we talking about pretty much right around in this time frame that we in right now. If we saying that Jesus gonna come back at the end of one age and then the beginning of another age, which is the house of Aquarius age, we pretty much in there right now. Because again, like, what was one of the miracles that Jesus performed? One of the miracles that he performed was he took 2 loaves of bread. Was it 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? It was something like that. I just know the number equals 7. The 5 and the 2. I know it was a 5 and I know it was a 2. So I think it was 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, or 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish. And he fed like 5,000 people, not including the women and the children. All right? So he did that, which is absolutely a miracle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he did that, but, and I'm talking about in literal terms, I mean, that's amazing. But in a philosophical standpoint, I can see how. How can I do that? I can do it by making this YouTube video. You feel what I'm saying? I can do it by making a YouTube video. I can touch 5,000 just by giving them what I'm giving them right now. And I can consider this 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. You see what I'm saying? However, for the philosophical standpoint, we're going to talk about that. So, what was the age before this. The age before this was the age of Pisces, okay? You got the age of Pisces. That's why you got a lot of Christians when you in traffic and you ride behind people and you see that little fish symbol on the back of their trunk. They're letting you know that they're Christians because of that miracle that he fed the people with these fish and these loaves of bread. You see what I'm saying? That symbol of the fish is the symbol for Christianity. And that's what they're letting you know. Now, let's talk about a astrological age. According to almanac.com, what is an astrological age? Something that most people don't know is that the position of the planets in the zodiac signs are different astrologically than they are astronomically. If one were to look through a telescope at the celestial bodies, they would not be traversing the actual constellations the way that astrologers say they are. Celestial sphere, an imaginary sphere projected into space that represents the entire sky, with an observer on Earth at its center. Picture yourself as standing at the center inside a clear ball with the sun, moon, stars, planets, and other celestial objects projecting overhead onto the dome, which is the upper half of the sphere. Ecliptic. There's a path that the sun appears to take around this celestial sphere. We call this the ecliptic or the ecliptic plane. See the yellow? You can't see the yellow dot. If we were to calculate the sun's position at the same local time each day, we would discover that the sun's position against the background of stars is moving eastward by just under 1 degree per day. Over the course of a year, the sun would return to its original position, having completed a circle. All of those daily positions combine to form a line through the celestial sphere that defines the ecliptic, the sun's apparent annual path against the fixed stars, which is caused by Earth's orbit around the sun changing our perspective. All right? So, when you talk about the zodiac, that's what we're talking about. It's the sun. That's where you get like Leo season, Libra season, Virgo season every year. The sun's going along that path. That's your zodiac. All right. Now, what or when is the age of Aquarius? The age of Aquarius is a great age. Now, a great age is associated with the position of the March equinox. In 2023, the location of the sun on the March equinox is in the constellation of Pisces, but also on the border of Aquarius. So we are slowly moving into a new age from Pisces to Aquarius. Now, this is almanac.com. This ain't keithdaniel.com saying this. I'm reading this off my phone from a website. Almanac.com. All right. Now, here's the thing. They don't know if they absolutely right in their calculations or not. There's no way they know. They're assuming, they're estimating. In my opinion, I feel like we are already in the age of Aquarius because it's too much damn information out here. The age of information is the age of Aquarius. We here now. In my opinion, we've been here for quite a while. The problem that we have is mainstream education, mainstream media, mainstream doctrinations, they ain't gonna cover this. You got to go out here and get this on your own. You see what I'm saying? Now, this has been covered. This has been covered by a whole lot of people. Let's talk about the American band Fifth Dimension. They gave you a song about it. The song was called Hair. And the opening lyrics of that song was stated as, when the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. This ain't something hippies made up. This is something that the priesthoods, the astrologers, the educators of mystic sciences and occult sciences, this is something that they all knew. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if the scripture says that look for the man with the pitcher of water, because I mean, if you take it literally, so I just supposed to go somewhere and I see somebody walking with a jug of water and I go to him and I say, hey man, can you give me a place so I can prepare? He might not even have a house to the point to where he can point me upstairs and I go upstairs and he got couches up there. You see what I'm saying? That's just too loose. It's loose at that point. Like, how can I, bro, that's too random. But if I apply it to the zodiac and the great ages and how this thing of ours move, it makes a whole lot of sense that they talking about the celestial bodies. You see what I'm saying? So if that's the case, now we're talking about an age to where not the person Jesus, but the title that he had called Christ and the blessings that it bestows called consciousness is coming back. And it's here. Again, they just shut the whole goddamn world down because of the crown of the sun. That's fact. You can try to twist and turn these words all you want to, but if you look at the definition of the words that they use to describe that sickness, it says crown of the sun. That's the King of Kings, that's the Lord of Lords. It's here, and it's in the form of consciousness. Again, this is an intellectual site. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying I need you to entertain a thought without accepting it if it ain't for you. You see what I'm saying? Just think. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm just here to make you think. Think about it. Think about where we at. Think about all the information. Think about how much information has came out and it's able to help us change for the better, no matter what it is. Now, the crazy part about it is, like, I think I said earlier in my intro, I'm a Leo. My mama's an Aquarius. Now, this is the thing about Aquarius and Leo, right? Aquarius is concerned about the good of the whole. A Leo is more concerned about individual sovereignty. You see what I'm saying? So they're two opposites. Aquarius is a water sign, or is it an air sign? I think it's a water sign. And I know Leo's a fire sign. So it's opposite, water, fire. You see what I'm saying? However, I'm an 8. And the Lionsgate portal is on the 8th. Being of the 8th, or being an 8th person, or speaking on the 8th, you're talking about old souls. So we get how this process goes. And both are important. The good, the betterment of the whole or the collective, meaning all of humanity, that's just as important as each individual understanding their sovereignty and who they are. Okay? This is just important. Just as important. One can't go without the other one. You follow what I'm saying? So with that, I'm just trying to challenge someone to know themselves. I'm challenging somebody to not take everything so literal that comes from your indoctrination. Be able to think outside of the box just a little bit. Stand on your own 2 feet, upright, chest out, head up. And depend on yourself. Study to show yourself approved. But see, what happens is once you do that, it get lonely. It really do. It get lonely. Because now you're held accountable for your own actions. It ain't no more just I can go out here and do whatever I want to do. And as long as I believe in Jesus, I'll be saved. Not so fast, my friend. No, 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 no. Because now it takes shadow work. Now, with this new frequency and this new energy and this new Christ consciousness coming down here, if you know better, you got to do better. You see what I'm saying? Now, how can you know better? Understanding what your zodiac sign is. Take your name and learn some etymology. Understand what certain parts of your name mean. Add those meanings up and get a clear understanding as far as what your name actually means. Because your name is a divine thing. Whether you believe it or not, they just didn't pull your name out of their ass when you was birthed. No, that came from on high to describe what type of being you are while you here. And your birthday, if you add it up, it's going to give you your life number. That's according to numerology. And every different number has a different path of life. The day you were born gives you your understanding as far as what type of person you are. For example, I'm an 8 person, but I'm on a 7 life path. 1980 equals up to 7. The day I was born is an 8. Now, it's a whole lot more that goes on with that you can get a little bit deeper into, but I ain't trying to take it too fast. This ain't the video for that. I'm just giving you an example. All right? Now, since we're here at this self-revelation part of the video, and I'm about to close out, I'm over an hour right now, but, you know, when spirit move me and, you know, source is working with me, I can't do nothing but be a vessel. All right? So, let's talk alchemy and what alchemy is. Alchemy is the changing of a mineral or a certain substance or a certain material into something else. It was basically said that a true alchemist that had the philosopher's stone, which was the formula for turning lead to gold, could actually do that in a physical sense. Now, I'm here to tell you that if you can do it, show me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to learn that secret. However, I can show you something different. I'm an alchemist. Why do I say I'm an alchemist? Because I was a piece of lead and I turned myself to gold. But what do you mean, Keith? How did you do that? I'm glad you asked. I was a piece of shit out here. I was straight up ignorant. It ain't no, look, bro, I can't even get into it as far as what I was out here in these streets. Boy, I was a real life goon, man. I did everything but call you a child of God while I was in them streets. But by the grace of the Creator, I was able to change my life and become the person that you see on your screen today, giving you this information. You would have caught me at 19, 21. Well, I couldn't do none of this. I can tell you how to rob somebody, though. I can tell you how to kick a door down, go get you some money. But helping you try get helping you to get on the path to change your life for the better, man. That wasn't me. I wasn't gold back then. I was lead. I was a base metal. Wasn't nothing about me special. You see what I'm saying? I did that. And that's the whole ideal of alchemy. I found the philosopher's stone and didn't even realize I had found it. I just was sincere in my thoughts and in my prayers that I wanted to change my motherfucking life. That's self-revelation. Revealing to yourself who you really are. And accepting that, whatever you are. If you a piece of shit and you accept that you a piece of shit. If you want to change, that's the first damn step. If you're going through a 7-step program, an AA program, or substance abuse program, the first step is admitting to yourself that you got a motherfucking problem. Self-revelation. And after you reveal it to yourself, you owe it to yourself to heal yourself. How do you do that? Apologize to yourself. Apologize to the people that you fucked over. Repent. Feel guilty about the bullshit that you done put out here in the world, man. And deal with your karma. Because it's coming back. But deal with that shit like a man. Don't try to make no excuses about it. If you won shit, you just won shit. Everybody go through it at some point. But don't try to find a scapegoat and try to put that shit off on somebody else. Be accountable for your actions. Be responsible for the shit that you do. And as that happens, you become better. But you got to take the first step. And you're going to walk. And at first, you ain't going to see nothing but your footsteps in the sand. But as you start making that connection more and more, you're going to start seeing another set of footprints in that sand with you, even though ain't nobody with you. And that's God. That's the creator. That's source. However you want to put it. Big Mama. However you want to put it, that's devil. But that's the ultimate goal. So again, in closing, I'm not trying to tell you that thinking of Jesus Christ in the literal sense is wrong. I ain't trying to tell you thinking that the Christ consciousness is the God Almighty truth. I'm not trying to tell you that you need to have a self-revelation. That ain't my job. My job is to point them out and hope that each individual that pays attention to this video has an intellectual capacity to entertain a thought, whether or not they want to accept it or not. With that being said, I'm finna shut it down, man. I appreciate everybody, especially if you got to this point in the video. You know, this ain't a popular topic. You know what I mean? I ain't into no ratchetness or anything like that, man. I done grew up. Look, I'm 43 years old. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7, that's a godly number. That's the day God rested, because he looked back and said, all is good. So I'm just trying to do my job. You know what I mean? If I can touch just one, mission accomplished. With that being said, I am Keith Daniel. This is the Daniel Diagnosis. Until we meet again, good people. Peace.